Going to start with the same thing. I'm Oscar and I'm Alex.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Behind the Lens podcast. I'm Oscar,
And I'm Alex.
and we're back after our long 6-month break, but that's okay because we're back for the end of the year. So, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, I have a few things in mind. I would like to go over the best experiences we got on the dance competitions, starting with Nashville Starz in last January, and going over the new gears we used this
Because
year.
we got some new cameras, which I'm using to film this, and we got the R5 right here.
Right, so we both are on mirrorless.
Yes.
And that was, I think that experience we gained is something I would like to
Absolutely.
about.
Absolutely. So, let's start. What events did we do? So, for instance, we did at the beginning of the year, we can just go through the year a little bit. So, at the beginning of the year in January, we did Nashville Stars together,
Right.
which was one of our first real big competitions. So,
Correct.
what did you learn? What did you feel was super cool in that competition?
Well, it's super cool about Nashville Stars to me is just the fact that it's run by Andrei and Natalie Paramonovs.
Absolutely. They're great people.
That is just the greatest experience to work.
Absolutely.
And being I was so excited to work with them, and I wish I would do more of some stuff, and I'll go over that stuff a little bit later. But basically, I will come back to that topic later. But basically, I've done my first documentary at the time as Andrei was running his masterclass. And I covered that event actually. It was not scheduled or planned, but I was able to do that, and I wish I would do the same thing for.
Yeah, I remember you just kind of hopped into the next room.
I
took
just
some
wish
pictures.
I would did the same thing with Natalie. I didn't get a chance to do that because I had to be on the floor, but that was a great experience. Just seeing
the group class.
Good class, yeah. And it's also like we are behind the scenes serious.
Yes.
That was behind the scene of what's happening outside of the ballroom. So for me, that was like you seeing the person in, I guess, more natural environment. Not necessarily that the environment of the dance floor is not natural, but that's where the people are.
Yeah.
pushing to get their best, and they dressed up, and they
a little more intimate of the
right.
space in the group
Right.
class. Yeah, because like the dance floor is a more professional place. Again, like you said, like you dress up, kind of professional. Here, it's more just like in the moment of
Right,
the
right.
setting.
And it's nice to see dancers like I was really happy to see Andre explaining his view on dancing, his understanding of how he is transferring his knowledge to
Absolutely, yes.
to the dancers, and it was really interesting to see how the people were involved in asking questions and how he was responding to that. And he's one of the guys who's responding to not just talking, but he's responding with his hands and his actions,
Yeah.
and he's like jumping
He's
up.
really into it.
Right, he's really into that, and that's fun things to do. And that was my, like I said, first experience doing that kind of documentary. Was it greatest documentary? Probably not, but it was my first
But
experience.
is that really the point? It's
Um,
more of the capturing the moment, less of the.
right. So basically, back to that topic, what I've learned through this entire year, and again, started with Nashville Starz, that lots of dancers, and not just dancers, but big names in dance.
Yeah.
If you look them up on Getty Images, let's say, or Alamo Images, that's a UK company, as opposed to
Like a stock image.
right, stock
website.
image company websites. Sometimes they have one image, sometimes they have two, but
Very little.
But it's
Yeah.
very little. So whatever they're thinking, or whatever that just was, I mean, the life never present the opportunity to do that, or they're not thinking 20 years from now if someone's going to Google them, not Google them, but trying to find the photos for the article or something else. Well,
It doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist. So,
So yeah.
so to me, this is very, well, surprising thing I discovered through the entire year, starting with Andre and Natalie. And actually, I talked to Andre about that topic. It was interesting to get his opinion, how much he cares to have developed this stock imagery, photography, how important photography to him, or how not important photography to him. Anyway, I was gaining lots of insight on that topic. So,
Okay. Interesting. So
how about you?
So for Nashville Starz, I really love that. Again, less about the competition itself, which was still great. Again, because Andre and Natalie run great competitions. Love the scenery. Like the decorations are fantastic. But also for us, I loved it because, working with Alex, doing the photography, doing all the sorting, the images, it's so much fun. Like, that's what I come here to do. That was super fun. I had a blast. Even though you're working super long hours, I don't know, it's just there's something about it that just keeps you going because it's so much fun. And also, you don't do it very often. So it's okay if you wake up and, at 7 in the morning and go until 12
Midnight.
Yeah.
Midnight. So
Midnight.
I don't know about 7 o'clock, but yeah, they basically.
Well, because
yeah,
it starts at 8 usually.
They started at 8 o'clock. So 7, yeah, basically you're running from 7 o'clock in the morning to midnight. So you
Because
have.
you got to wake up, eat breakfast, get dressed, and then go to the
Right,
ballroom.
so-
You still have to be at the ballroom like 15 minutes earlier to, set up and get ready.
Right. So actually at the end of that, I still call it 3-day competition is a marathon, kind of, for photography, right?
Yes.
It's lots of.
It's a lot of pictures
It's lots
to
of
sort
pictures.
and to take.
I know that. Let's say there are competitions. Let's say Fred Astaire nation, final. They're running like 5-day competition, and I never done it. I have no clue how the photographers surviving that. It's even more difficult. But I think it's 3-day competition is long enough.
Oh, absolutely. We also did another competition later on in the year in September, so not too long ago, called Galaxy. What was your experience on that competition? Galaxy Dance Festival? Yeah.
Right. So Galaxy Dance Festival was. I actually had a blast working
Yeah.
with Artyom and Inna.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not, I love working on that competition, and they have something special on how they interact with people and how they bring some energy in the competition. Not to mention again, don't take me wrong. On the prior thing we were talking about the Nashville Stars, but I love taking photographs of of Inna and Artyom.
Oh yeah,
Believe
they're
it
so
or not.
much fun.
They are just so much
fun. Yeah.
so much into the being a model. I mean, at any point you turn the camera, you click, and that click is, almost like every time is a great shot. They really, 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 and they also, I don't talk about the dresses much, but I love the way Ina looks and whatever dresses
Yeah.
she's using. This is just one of those phenomenal,
Absolutely. Yeah.
classy, in very, very like you shooting it's a model in front of you is a model, not necessarily a dancer. I don't see the dancers all the time, but it's a model, and between two together, I got some phenomenal shots.
They were having so much fun there. So much fun.
That-
They're always smiling. It was so much fun.
Not to mention, it was a girl there. One of the dancers there was Tiasha.
Yes.
You remember her?
Yes, I do.
So she brought, and again, I mean, don't take me wrong. Every other dancer there on the floor was absolutely phenomenal, but somehow she was literally engaging me into the shooting pictures. She got really great group of people on the first day.
Yeah.
I think it was Thursday night, and that was just a fun personality and great dancer. And she also brought lots of people, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she's local there. So she was very, very comfortable. She knew there was lots of students she brought in. She did lots of somehow I remember lots of group shots.
Yeah, definitely.
That was probably Thursday night, if I remember that correctly. Anyway, so people like that is just that's a
Yeah, because some people come to a competition just to have fun there.
right, and that's exactly what it was, I guess, But believe it or not only that, but later in the year, I actually communicated with her a few times, and she actually gave me a couple more leads on the new competitions and connecting me to people where we end up doing the photo shoot basically. For we're still working. I don't want to disclose what we're doing, but I mean it
Top
is
secret.
top secret. Yeah, possibly new competitions coming, and we're developing some marketing materials with them, and she was the one who basically connected us, get us together, and told us, hey, this is. I didn't get a chance to see her at Ohio, actually in Columbus,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah, that's another thing we did. Alex went to his first Ohio. Wow.
I went to the first Ohio. Yeah, this is difficult topic. So
Continue,
yeah, it's not. But anyway, I'm glad I did what I did.
Yeah.
I was not. I was a guest, not guest photographer, just a guest. Who it was an exciting event. This was just
For
such
Ohio,
a.
you're talking about.
I'm talking Ohio. This is. Yeah, Oscar's always making fun of me like I'm a dance photographer. I've never been to Ohio.
You're like one of the main competitions.
Well, now I feel
US.
that gap is filled. Check.
Good.
Mark.
Except now you gotta go every year.
Well,
or almost.
Yeah, and you can do. By the way, you can do there lots of stuff outside of just being a photographer. So obviously the photographer who was official photographer there is Charles Ryder.
Yeah.
And that's. And he was running pretty big operation. I can't even imagine how challenging and difficult it is for him, or it was for him to do that. This is lots of responsibility. So
I was actually on the team who was shooting Ohio in 2019.
Oh, right before the COVID.
Right before COVID.
Yeah.
With
Alan Rowan.
Alex Rowan. Yeah.
Alex Rowan. Yeah.
It's a huge operation. I was just a shooter, so I didn't really get to experience the full magnitude of it, because I was just a shooter, so I'm just taking into pictures like I normally would.
Yeah.
But there was so many people. He had like a good 20 or more plus people just on his team.
I think he said
two
12.
sorters.
I think he said 12. His team was 12 people.
At Ohio, it was bigger than that for sure.
I think that's what he
I don't know.
told me.
Because we
about
took like
this stuff.
a group picture, it's definitely more than 12.
Okay. Well,
total.
anyway, even imagine this: you're running. I mean, this is a
Huge
major
operation.
operation. So anyway, I got a chance to just meet people, and my goal was just basically hang around with people and taking selfies. Of me and Bill Sparks or something like that. Basically, that was and basically meeting people I usually meet on the dance floor, and every time I'm on the dance floor, official photographer, I take pictures of people, and I never get a chance to actually hug them or just chat with them or say hello or ask how they like my photography or what would be their expectations. And this time I did, so I
That's
got
cool.
I got a
That's
chance
good.
basically have a glass of wine at the bar. it was a little late and I was really tired, but and again it's interesting experience for me.
Absolutely.
So this is great.
Yes, Ohio is a great competition. If you haven't been there, you should definitely go there.
Yeah.
Also, I want to talk a little bit about our cameras. So, in January, I actually sold my old 6D Mark II to get the new R6. Actually, on the competition, like at the competition at Nashville, I didn't have my camera. So I was cameraless because I was in the process of getting the R6. But that's okay because we had Alex's camera anyway.
You did shoot with
Because we only
camera.
had one shooter because it's just
Right.
one floor. So
So
we don't need two.
technically speaking, what we had with the equipment we had at the Nashville Starz was my new R5, which that was the first competition for that camera to be used. And as a backup, I had my Mark III
Yeah,
all
5D.
All 5D camera.
5D Mark III.
Right. And that was, I thought I needed the back. I mean, you always needed a backup,
Absolutely.
I guess. No questions about that. But I didn't get a chance to
Use it.
actually.
Actually, I did use it at a smaller event, and like the 5D Mark III, and oh my gosh,
You feel like last century?
it exactly because it is so like the grip and it's like the whole camera is so chunky because that was like its selling point, like it was nice in the hands, but these are so tiny and compact and light. You don't want to go back. And like
Right.
the shutter click, it's
Right,
like every time it's like
No, this
it's
is
such a loud sound. This is so silent.
It's very to me. It's very big surprise that Like I feel. I mean, that was actually a big point what you just mentioned about the weight of the camera. For me, let's say it was a big deal when you're working long hours and stuff. If you're carrying 3 pounds versus 5 pounds,
It starts to add up the more
right.
you hold, because especially you have to hold it up the whole day. Ooh,
It's
It starts to get
it's a
heavy.
big deal. But that was not my final experience. Is more leaning toward the fact that I feel like I'm going back to my old camera, and I feel like, whoa, I'm going like 50 years back in
Yes.
technology.
because you also lose IAF, which is totally underrated. Once you use it, you can't go back.
You can't go back, basically.
I loved my 6D Mark II. Don't get me wrong, but once you switch to a nice mirrorless camera
mirrorless,
like I'm
yeah.
doing right now, ooh,
I don't know.
So
Do you
nice.
ever think about, let's say, I guess one of my maybe goals for the next year, and I have a few friends who's using Sony's.
mm-hmm.
I want to try it out. Yeah, in real, it doesn't have to be much. It just have to
Yeah.
be 10 minutes of experience or 20 minutes of experience, and I want to compare the
Imagery.
outcome
Sure.
of what comes out of Sony. I know I'm not talking about just the coloration of the image. It's a little bit different. Algorithm is a little bit difference on the light, on how it's
Yeah.
saturate the color. It's not even that what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, I guess, hand experience.
I can
How
tell
the-
you about my hand experience, like my physical experience with the camera.
Okay.
Like just holding it, picking it up, like actually I think it
You're
was
talking Sony now.
yes, Charles's camera.
Right.
We had a grip on it, but that doesn't matter. When you first pick it up, it doesn't feel that natural in the hand.
See, but this is again.
For me, at
this is. I used to be working at the corporate, and I work with lots of photographers, and I was the guy who was recommending purchasing equipment for almost a decade for many people. and that was all around the globe. So my recommendations was always, I don't know, it was just a common sense. I go, listen, you're a photographer. Assume that the Canon, Nikon, and Sony will come up with a similar qualities.
Which they probably will. Like, if you use any of those cameras, you're still going to get great imagery if you know what you're doing.
Right. So the biggest thing is that you're taking your camera and close your eyes and put your finger on the main button. And does that work? And if it does, okay.
Like for me with Sony, it didn't.
Camera. Okay.
I put it, but then no, it's actually like it's actually slightly higher. And more above, it's kind of like to contort your finger. At least for me with my hands.
No,
it could be different with other people, obviously, but that's my experience.
I know people who actually much more flexible to switch. I have a photographer who used to work for me or with me. His name is Jason Bax. He's a he's San Francisco photographer now, and he switched back and forth, from what I understand, at least twice.
Interesting.
He used to be on the Canon, then he went to Sony, and when the mirrorless came on out of Canon, he switched back to Canon. And he's now...
Switching is really expensive.
I guess...
Because you have to buy new lenses and everything.
Well, anyway, he is... he's also has another guy who he's working with, and I don't know. I was really surprised to hear from him because he was my real source. Okay, back in the days, I was a second shooter when I was running a large corporate business, and he was the first guy, and he was my go-to guy to ask the questions about stuff. So he was, in fact, the first guy who showed me how the Lightroom works and why we need it.
Cool.
Funny enough. And I'm just laughing at myself thinking of those old conversations. Like I don't think I understood fully what he was showing me back then.
Oh,
it was many years ago.
Yeah, you can't fully understand.
But it does make perfect sense now. So anyway, but the camera, yeah. So there are people who can go back and forth. For me, I would sacrifice on the ergonomics, and I would like to try the Sony, but. Really, for now, I think it works what we're doing, and it's basically the ergonomics dictating us the direction. Like we pick the camera. Now we also. I mean, wasn't that another reason why we stick with Canon, so we can utilize the lenses we had.
We like the system overall because I'm also somewhat of a video shooter. Very occasionally I shoot video too, and Canon is also good for video too. Not saying the other ones aren't, but it's a great hybrid system. Along with the lenses, Canon always probably has and will probably always have the best lens overall kit. Like they have the most lenses, the most variety, and with the RF, they're bringing out some really nice lenses nowadays. It's great. I wish they would open the lens mount to third parties so that Sigma and Tamron can make more affordable lenses.
Believe it or not, is that the only company who don't allow that, or Sony is on the same page? Can you
No, you can get Sonys. You can get Sonys.
So Canon just decided that
the EF is open to third parties, but the RF, the new one for the mirrorless,
maybe
is
that's
not.
just a.
It's to get money, first of all.
I don't know.
Yes, 100%.
It's actually, I know photographers who's saying that is the reason they're leaving Canon. And there are.
I'm sure they have their reasons.
There are multiple photographers who are saying this is not cool what they're doing, and the whole trend is just not what they want to stick with.
It also depends on what you're doing. Because if you're doing what we're doing, we like it. But if you're maybe more of whatever landscape, then maybe this doesn't work for you for any particular reason. I don't know. I don't know those reasons because I'm not that photographer.
Right. No,
I like it, so that's why I'm
listening to lots of photographer who's doing a live, let's say bird. I mean, the topic is the bird photography, and they staying with Canon. They love actually.
I see a lot of nature photographers.
Nature photographers are doing using lots of Canon
with that $12,000 800mm lens.
Again, for the most part, I'm talking now about the photographers from United States and UK. I'm not sure the rest of the world is on the same page or not, honestly, because I know that European photographers, lots of them are using Nikon. I don't know. Somehow somehow the few people, again, it may not be really the trend, but the people I know, Nikon is the brand anyway. So I guess between everything, I'm sure people have different experiences and stuff, but for us, again, the bottom line, we did switch to mirrorless, and 2022 was the year when we, for the first time, really emerged with that
And I
new
think,
technology.
like, in your experience, has it been smooth or not?
For me, it wasn't.
Okay.
And I think I mentioned to you before that I was really struggling until recent. It was the longest struggle of my photography life with anything I ever had.
Like, because like the thing about DSLRs is that they just work. Reliable. You can basically rely on them to work pretty much in any condition. These not so much.
Right. Some settings, there are lots of settings on this mirrorless. Not like it's different from the.
You've also had a lot of issues. Like mine, I've had no issues, but yours, like,
some
settings just don't do anything. It's kind of weird.
Right.
And you got a replacement, yeah? I think
right, and I got a replacement too. Yeah, right. My first camera was.
That's not a good sign.
No, it's not. But that's the reality. Again, it may only be my experience, so I don't want to expand it, and it's hard for me to.
Because with mine, I've had no issues.
Right.
My transition has been smooth. I just started taking pictures with this one.
Also, another thing is that my wish list was all. I mean, this camera being a computer, basically.
Yes.
Now, when I go to the Lightroom of any post-production, I feel that some features of what are in my post-production set should be in the camera. So I wish I could really, let's say, brighten up the dark areas or background or stuff like that. I want more features in the cameras.
You want more features, more settings?
I want more settings. So I would like to see.
You mean like for instance, like a basic,
very basic,
like exposure, saturation,
exactly right,
highlights, shadows, blacks, whites, just basic little sliders that you can adjust to every image you're taking.
Right. So when I shot the image, I don't have to do it in post production. That's just not.
When you could just bulk edit them.
You can.
Control C, Control V, boom, everything's edited.
Yeah, but any steps in post production, again, we're talking dense photography. For now, that's a dense photography. You're dealing with lots of imagery. You're dealing with lots of steps.
Yeah, usually about 15,000 is how much we took per competition.
50, okay, I think 15. You exaggerated. Well, 15. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So the ballpark of work. I mean, some photographers will shoot not 15,000, or let's say not 5,000 images per day, but maybe 20,000 pictures per day. But then they're going to be spending so much more time and sorting all this stuff out. And
you really have to be deliberate on what you're shooting.
So you need to understand, and basically when you're working together, that's important, super important thing. So when you bring the new person on the team, and I actually, by the way, that's another experience I had. Anyway, when you were gone, what was the competition?
When was this?
Harvest Moon?
Yes.
So
was there?
I don't know if you want to keep this stuff in the video, but when you were back to Poland for a couple of days, what was this? Was it Harvest Moon happening?
Yes.
Okay. So
sorry, I thought you were talking about the other Harvest Moon.
No, so my experience when I had a great guy actually who was helping me. His name is Vitaly, and he was original owner of Zenfolio actually. Anyway, another guy I met this year was just lots of feedback. Anyway, so I brought him as a photographer for this 3-day competition, and he did a phenomenal job out of the blue using my cameras again. And again, you're talking about he was not really a professional photographer per se, but anyway, he was a photographer.
Okay.
Anyway, but in any case, I mean, so basically, I've learned also lots of stuff how you build the team. How you build,
definitely very important skill.
How do you bring the new person on the team, and how you feed his skill and talent to overall, delivering great product, and at the very same thing, I want to say thank you to Sava, who was helping me for. It was the same Harvest Moon for a couple days.
Yeah.
That was really. I mean, we didn't have any issues, and he helped me so much. I mean, thank you. Really, that was a great experience, and I probably, hopefully, I'm learning how to, like I said, plug the new person into the structure of what you're doing, in basically creating a simple process, not overwhelming the person with what you're telling them, and just basically assigning just something reasonable what the person can handle. So that is a talent. That is a talent to be able to do that. So that's Anyway, that was just something just came to my mind, but that was interesting experience anyway.
Also, we also did another little fun thing, the dance religion camp shoot.
Oh my God.
This was in the beginning of August. This was with two big shots, Karina Smirnov and
Marisa Viskovi. I'm not sure.
Viskova.
Viskova.
Or Veskova, however you say it, right?
Yeah, Marisa, I apologize for not pronouncing your name right, but that's listen, that was probably
so much fun.
And again, this is, I mean, you were dancing at that event. I mean, it's not an event.
It's a camp where
it's a camp.
Lots of lessons are being taken.
And those training camps are actually happening all over the place, right?
Oh yes, they're happening everywhere.
I mean, this is happening everywhere. In the coaches coming from Europe, U.S. coaches flying to Europe. It's a big thing. And for me as a photographer, believe it or not, and I don't want to diminish competitions. I really appreciate that I'm doing Galaxy, I'm doing Harvest Moon, I'm doing Windy City, I did the Nashville Starz.
I think I know where you're going with this.
But this was probably the best experience of this year of 2022. So I covered the entire 4 days of training camp with Karina and Mauricio.
Yeah.
And I was just, amazed, not even being there. While you're there, you're just working. So, and again, I was not covering all day, 15 hours like I do at the competitions. I maybe worked, I want to say,
a few hours.
2 to 5 hours a day. And, the original arrangements was, Sergey, was that I would come for a couple hours in a day, or at least basically that's what I was what I was getting paid for. But if that makes any sense.
You were having so much fun
but it was so much fun that I just did it. I thought, wow, I can do more of this, and let me do it. And I was just staying and staying and staying. And it was difficult for me to leave as I was observing both of those phenomenal, I mean, obviously those two names are
immense. Huge,
right. This is huge. Those are huge. But also, again, like I said, I started with Paramonov, and Andrea let me shoot his masterclass. That was amazing. Beginning of the year, that was lots of learning. This camp was
having fun.
Like having fun.
Yeah.
And the results, what we got out of that, I feel like they're not just the goal of, one that you took the shot of, let's say, Oscar's on the floor dancing, Oscar and Veronica dancing, and this is boom, great shot. You got the great shot. You put it on Instagram. No, this is more of a lifetime documentary. That's the way I feel about it.
Because like what you're talking about before with the Getty Images, you can put this on Getty Images or on the internet, and then you can have these forever.
And I honestly, I hope that I can engage more of those big names and, famous people, right? And very, very famous people and beautiful dancers. I want to engage them in this process of creating their portfolio and building their portfolio on the major photo stock company sites. Anyway, that would be amazing to me if we can achieve that goal. And also, toward the middle of the year, I did a couple more camps like that. I don't think we have that much time to talk about that stuff.
No, we don't.
So, but anyway. Yeah. This was like I said, it was the best experience, and I still when I'm looking back, and what I shot, I think it was absolutely phenomenal experience.
Yes.
I want to say thank you to Sergey Chislov, who was hosting the camp, and Sergey and Dasha.
Yeah.
And by the way, funny enough, well, not funny enough, but I guess that the first day I was working there, well, Dasha was she had a baby.
Yep.
That was the day. So I didn't actually see them. I saw them on the first day, and I saw them on the very last day, on the fourth day. But in anything in between, they were not there really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was still fun though without it. And like for some reason, the camp, like shooting like for you, and I also did a video, which I'll talk about in a sec. It just has a different feel to it than a competition because it's more like with the group class, it's more intimate and just more in the moment versus the more professional setting of the competition. It just feels super cool, and it was super like collaborating with people and seeing these big shots and these nice people, always collaborating and all the lessons and all the knowledge that's being transferred. So much fun. And with my video, so I rarely shoot video. I'm just personally, I'm not that great at it, but it's super. I love to shoot video. I just don't like video because I hate to edit it. I hate editing the video.
It takes time to edit stuff.
But
yeah.
shooting the video,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it takes a lot of time.
At least photography, you can narrow it down to, let's say you have 10 photos, you pick 10 photos.
It's
you,
like
you
10
edit
things and you're
photos.
done. But the video, you can always keep adding more different
Right.
transitions or, cuts and like this and this. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It takes a lot of skill and time. But, I did it. And it was so much fun shooting that. You can see it. It's up on my Instagram. You can go ahead and look at it. It's a reel. It was a lot of fun. I like shooting video. It was so much fun shooting that. So while he was shooting video, he was shooting photo. I was shooting video. So we were kind of collaborating.
Honestly, yesterday we did I did the last gig of the year.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that was also Sergey's and Dasha's studio.
Yeah, this was just 2 days ago at the time of filming.
That was 2 days ago. That was actually the day when they had. Well, you talk about this rounds. What are rounds? What are rounds? Because I didn't know what it was until I show up there.
So a round is basically just at a competition, like either like usually it's 5 dances, or if you dance smooth, it's 4 dances. It's all of those dances, and you just do them in a row like a competition without stopping. All 5 or 4 dances in a row, and rounds, like with an S, mean plural. So you do multiple of those just to practice, to get your stamina up, to get ready for the competition. So Alex came there and shot that. It was a lot of fun, right? Yeah, a lot of fun.
Right. Lots of fun. It is lots of fun, but also the surprisingly, big surprise that, I post, I don't know, let's say a dozen photos as a reel, though, not as a photo.
Yeah, so
on Instagram,
go look at that little video that he made. It's up on his Instagram as a reel.
Yeah, if you're looking on Instagram, Alex Gillon Photography, yeah, you'll see it at the last post anyway. But surprisingly, you're getting hundreds and hundreds of views. And to me, this is really surprising that, listen, this is an absolutely local event.
Yeah.
This is not it's not a big competition. There is no big name of anything there, but it's just so much fun, so low pressure and so much fun that I think this is another thing I would like to continue working with different studios. And usually studios thinking, oh, I have to have a picture on the wall of whatever, the Ohio State. And well, maybe so, but there is option to that. There is some good stuff could be done in the daily, not pretentious events. Really.
Like the more like just everyday things that are going around in the studio.
Yeah, but what are those rounds at Chislov's for you? You're there every Wednesday and Thursday, generally speaking, right? Is that
every Wednesday, sometimes Thursdays, yeah. Because
Okay.
Thursdays is for standard and Wednesday is for Latin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great environment there because then there's also like all the people watching with the parents, and because the floor is not big enough for everyone to be all at the same time, so you do 2 heats usually, which is like you do one group and then another group for the same dance. And the people watching and the people clapping and enjoying, it's a lot of fun. Sometimes the parents record the children. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, you being there, that was a lot of fun when you some pics of the fun environment, because it's basically a competition. Because you just dance and you perform, but it's a more fun setting. It's not as professional. You don't have to act so professional and stuff like that because it's not a huge audience. It's just like,
It just a
2,000
few
people.
right, 2,000 people. Usually the parents are sitting along the wall and watching their kids and waiting
Yeah.
for the kids to be done and drive them home, basically.
Yeah.
So, but it's another
Yeah, we should also start wrapping
another
up here, too.
event, which is for me, like now I'm thinking I'm gonna put this stuff on the agenda, and I will may actually offer this to different studios. It's a simple business model. I mean, you're not really charging them anything. You're just basically using this as an engagement tool. You're coming there, you're shooting for 2 hours.
Mainly for your sake.
Right.
And also for them as a bonus, right?
For them as a bonus. And basically, you're engaging with people who you may see later at the competitions. But actually, the product out of that, stuff, could it be something, like basically you can be making money on? Probably. I mean, in many cases, but that's not the goal. The goal is just basically
for that kind of a little event. You wouldn't.
Right. It's more or less a marketing effort.
Yeah.
So
you do it for free, and it's for your personal gain, and for their, just give them a little bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is, but again, I mean, I don't know how many more studios do you know who do that kind of stuff anyway in Chicagoland.
Not many.
Not that many.
There's barely any.
So there is something special about that studio. I mean, what they do, because people come.
Definitely, because there's a lot of people there.
Lots of
They're
people
definitely
there,
doing something. Right.
Even on a very slow day, yesterday was standard. It was not that many people, but
because everyone's on vacation right now, it's winter break.
Right. So somehow Wednesday people, is it more Latin dancers than standard dancers?
Absolutely. They're always
Okay.
It will always be like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess this is maybe another reason, but other than that, do you want to talk about any? I mean, I've done other comps, actually not competitions, but there are also multiple other events, smaller events.
Yeah, we've done some other events, but honestly, I think we should start to wrap up here.
Yeah.
So as you can see, guys, there's a lot of things that you can do, and even if it's occasionally, even doing it occasionally, you can still get a lot of experience, right? Just one time with the Zenfolio owner or like founder, right? So much information and knowledge you can get from one experience.
Right.
So just go out there and just do it.
Right.
Don't really wait for it. Even if it's one time, you're like, oh, it's only going to be once. That's okay. It's better than zero.
Right.
You will always get some experience.
That experience I got was working with Vitaly, who was the owner of the Zenfolio. Anyway, that was a lots of information he shared, and he was very, very willing person to do that. So
Good on him too.
I gained lots of knowledge.
Absolutely.
Anyway, from basically working with him couple times, and anyway, and I hope we still can collaborate and and do lots of stuff together. All right. So what's the very, 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 like the year's ending?
Yeah. So I was just going to say, Happy New Year to you guys, and to the next year, to 2023. Let's do even more events. You guys will go out there. We'll go out there, have some more fun, more events. It's going to be so much fun. Trying out new gear. Everything in the world of photography. So just again, Happy New Year to you guys, and we're gonna see you next year. Hopefully, we're gonna do a little more often of a podcast rather than every 6 months. We're gonna try like maybe once a month. We'll try, right?
Right. We'll try. I don't know, once
or
a
even
month,
more.
Every 4 or 5 weeks, maybe.
Sure. Whenever we can.
Something like that. But also, I want to just say thank you to every competition owner who invited us to be a photographer for the event. And I have so much fun working with all of you. This is just absolutely delight and fun and great experience. And I would love to continue that. So if you have events, they could be big events, they could be small events, they could be showcases, they could be dancing camps. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We need to sit down, have a short conversation, make some beautiful imagery of your event, and it will be helping
you. It'll be helping us. It's a win-win all around. Yeah. So again, thank you, dancers. Thank you, competition owners. Thank you, everyone. Thank you guys for watching this podcast. And
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Absolutely. Okay, so I guess we'll see you guys next year. See ya.
See you guys.